This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. While MeUndies can't totally help your love life this Valentine's Day, they can offer you insanely comfy undies and loungewear to buy or gift. MeUndies has so many awesome Valentine's Day prints and styles. Plus, you can match with your partner, friends, or even your pets. This Valentine's Day, give the gift that'll keep them thinking of you and score huge site-wide savings at MeUndies.com/Spotify. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify. MeUndies. Comfort from the outside in.
Hey folks, we're the hosts of Comic Sans, the podcast about comics for those who are sans knowledge.
Comic Sans is a show for people who are new to comics, like me.
Or people who love them, like me. You can listen to our brand new 3rd season or binge the first 2 right now.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, everybody.
Ooh, an intro. And hey.
Why? There's nothing going on. There's no news.
Yeah, there was no news at all about like a possible Buffy reboot, sequel, sequel. Sequel is the proper terminology for this. With Sarah Michelle Gellar attached? That's not. What?
We're dangerously, in case you're staying offline, which right now, who could blame you? Here's the deal. Hulu is dangerously close to placing a pilot order for a Buffy the Vampire Slayer sequel-ish show directed by Chloe Zhao. And I just can't even believe that I'm saying this. Sarah Michelle Gellar is in talks to reprise.
I say both work.
Come back. Make some Buffy appearances within the show. That is what's on the table for 2025 and beyond, friends. This could be happening.
This might be happening. Assemble themselves. I feel excited about it. I saw the Kazooies attached to this. That's some original Buffy alum right there.
Dolly Parton, also original Buffy alum.
Yeah.
She's on board. There's one person who's definitely not involved.
And you know what? How great is that?
Feels good.
So,
wow. We are a buzz.
You know what I think it is, Jenny? We wrote a book, and now Buffy can come back.
Now people are getting excited.
Yeah.
Slayers, time.
Every one of us, Sarah Michelle Gellar saw the cover of the book and said, you know what? That includes me coming back. Even me right now in 2025, I can also come back. So you're all welcome that we manifested this.
It's so nice that we could inspire Sarah Michelle Gellar the way that she has inspired so many of us. What a treat.
We obviously will be following things closely. We will be petitioning to get LaToya Ferguson in that writer's room so that we can have some security about the fate of our Buffyverse. And
Hulu, we are available to host the official show-sanctioned podcast.
Or take it a step further, Jenny. I think in 2025-6, whenever this would come out, there's going to be podcasters in the universe of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Put us in the universe and or let Jenny Owen Youngs play the Bronze 2.0.
Bronze 2.0.
Let's go. Let us get our vision boards together, kids.
There are a lot of ways that we could be involved, and we are open to all of them. Get in touch. Hulu, get in touch. Chloe, get in touch. SMG, we're here for you.
Call us at 1-800-GET-IN-TOUCH. Okay, so...
please, Kristin, it's 1-800-TOUCH-US.
Oh my God, I hate it. Take it back. Okay, so a couple of other things. One, as you know, we're having a Buffy prom. This is our 5th Buffy prom. That's wild.
Whoa.
Second time at Torrance High School, Sunnydale High School. We are on the campus of Sunnydale High for this prom. It's a 2-night event, and I have a couple of things I want to tell you about that. One, as of today, we have a handful of low-cost and no-cost tickets available for the weekend. It is not a cheap thing to attend Buffy prom. We know that some of you desperately want to be there and can't afford it. And so we try to make it as accessible as possible. BufferandCast.com/prom. The links are all there. All of the information you need is there. Fill out the form as long as we can, as long as we have inventory of those low cost and no cost tickets. We will be sending out codes to folks who want to join us and who don't have the dollars. So BufferandCast.com/prom. All the information you need is there. Second thing about prom we want to update you on is that as of now, you can also, if you want to come to the book release event. So prom is 2 nights. Friday night, we are with Joanna Robinson, the one and only, in the Torrance High School Theater. And it is our proper book release event. Saturday is prom in the courtyard at Torrance High School. So if you want to just attend the book release, you now can. You can get a single ticket to Friday night's event, and that is also bufferandcast.com/prom. So head on over there. All the details are there for you. Hell yeah.
Come on down. It's going to be literary. You know how we love to push our glasses up on our nose bridges.
Exactly.
Speaking of glasses on nose bridges, we have one more little surprise for you. Yes, this is an episode for Angel. Yes, we are going to talk to Joanna Robinson for an incredibly long amount of time. You're about to dive in. Yes, that all rocks. But whoa, we had so much podcast that there's actually some leftovers that didn't fit within the bounds of this ep. So, for the very first time, next week, in 1 week's time, we will be releasing our very first Watcher's Diary. Watcher's Diary number 1. And what's going to be in that? I'll tell you. Some amazing mailbag emails from you beautiful listeners, and also the What Was Dawn Doing segment for Angel.
Hell yeah. And, you know, we'll be testing. We're piloting it, right? You know what? Buffy gets a pilot. We get a pilot. Our pilot
That's right. We've placed a pilot order we are dangerously close to placing a pilot order for Watcher's Diary.
Yeah. A fun little mini-sode. You know, sometimes you get 2 hours and sometimes you get 15 minutes and both are enjoyable. So come join us next week if you want to know what Dawn was doing in the episode Angel, which honestly you definitely do. So
you really do.
It's a good one.
Come on down. All right, but for now, oh my gosh, without further ado, so much ado has already been done. Let's go.
So, what'd you do all day?
I read a little and just thought about a lot of things. Buffy,
My diary? You read my diary? That is not okay. A diary is like a person's most private place. You don't even know what I was writing about. Hunk can mean a lot of things, bad things. And when it says that your eyes are penetrating, I meant to write bulgy.
Buffy.
And A doesn't even stand for angel, for that matter. It stands for Ahmed, a charming foreign exchange student. So that whole fantasy part has nothing to even do with you at all.
Your mother moved your diary when she came in to straighten up. I watched her from the closet. I didn't read it, I swear.
Oh.
I did a lot of thinking today. I really can't be around you. Because when I am...
Hey, no big water. Over the bridge,
all I can ever
under
think
the
about
bridge,
is how
over the
badly
dam.
I want to kiss you.
Kiss me?
Welcome back to Buffering the Vampire Slayer once more with spoilers, a podcast where we're watching and discussing each and every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time for the second time, this time with spoilers. It's late. I'm tired and I don't want to play games. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
I'm Kristin Russo, and hey, when it says that your eyes are penetrating, I actually meant to write bulging. Today, we are discussing the 7th episode of the first season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's called Angel. You know the one.
Angel was written by David Greenwalt, directed by Scott Brazil. It originally aired on April 14th, 1997, and our spoiler-free coverage of this episode originally aired on November 2nd, 2016, just 20 days before I turned the tender age of 35. Were we ever so youngs?
There's someone else here, and we don't even have to say it. We can sing it, or actually Jenny can. Hit it, bitch.
I'd love to.
Joanna Robinson is here to talk to us about her feelings on the Sunnydale populace.
Joanna fucking Robinson.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Thanks ever so much for having me here for your cockroach fumigation party. What a joy for me
any
personally.
cockroach you see in any of our houses gets you a free drink, Joanna.
Oh, hell yeah. Your house is cockroach free. I've never been to Jenny's house, so I couldn't speak to it.
All you have to do is visit Joanna to check.
All
Just
right.
come up anytime.
Sounds good. I'll be there to look for cockroaches soon.
Oh, so happy to have you here. I don't know if you remember what this episode is about, Joanna, but just in case you've forgotten, I'll tell you.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely not emblazoned on my soul. From the tender age of, what was it? 15.
15. Well, this is the one where Joanna discovers that Buffy discovers Angel's dark secret and hesitates to do anything about it, which could spell danger for someone she loves.
Before we go any further, before we spell danger or any other word for Buffy or anyone she knows, it's my pleasure, my honor, and my privilege to express to the good people listening, and also to Joanna, who's here for the first time on Once More with Spoilers, that into every generation, a spoiler warning is born. We alone wield the strength and skill to discuss things from any of the following sources. Oh my gosh, all 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, plus the canonical Dark Horse comics, plus Angel the TV series, and any related canonical comics, plus anything that currently exists inside of the Buffyverse, and anything that may be announced or released as we go.
Anything we want. Anything we want.
Everything we want.
Joanna, we also have started doing a little something at the top because some of our listeners are listening to us in 2016, 2017, whatever, wherever we were in the run, 2016 actually, and then listening to this coverage. And so there's a little public domain document where they put some of the things that we may have said in the first run. Yeah, they're great, you know, because I was like, I'm not going back to listen to all of our old episodes, but you know what? They are.
Okay.
And the biggest thing I have from this one, from our listeners, is that this is when we first observe Angel's favorite lighting through the mini blinds. Of course it is. I mean, clearly it is. This is the origin of mini blind lighting for our boy Angel. It's also, Jenny, when you admitted to your inability to talk with a pair of fangs in your mouth. So I just want to remind everyone.
Admitted? I admit nothing. It's Julie Benz's job. Why do you go hassle her? She sounds at least as bad as I do.
For the record, you were hassling yourself. Okay, so
well, okay.
Joanna, you're the first guest on Once More with Spoilers. It could be no other way.
What a ding-dang honor for me, man. What an absolute joy and delight and thrill of my lifetime. And I couldn't be happier to be here.
Honorary degree from Buffering the Vampire Slayer awarded to Joanna Robinson way back in 2018 or something. So we're finally complete. The coven is finally all here.
Well, my first episode, the first run, was a season 2 episode, right?
No, I think. Oh, yes, because it was Innocence or Surprise. It was Innocence.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I didn't get to join you guys as early in the run before, and I was just thinking about I was feeling particularly, and I think it's just how high his cardigan is buttoned in one of the scenes, but I was feeling particularly lustful towards Giles in this episode. And listen, that school is really good and the teachers really care, and I love that for us. But I think it's because Spike is nowhere to be found and I have to direct my energy somewhere, and the closest target with a British accent will have to do. So here we are.
I mean, he's worthy of it. It could be his best dressed season, but I'll have to remember season 2 and 3 before I make that call.
It's definitely before he started wearing swampy mom sweaters or whatever happens.
Swampy mom sweaters.
I didn't say that with love in the world.
I feel like 8 months pregnant. I'm sitting here in a swampy mom sweater. So,
no, you're wearing a sharp cardi. That's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking listen. Swampy mom sweaters look great on moms, but I don't think that they're suited for Giles.
They're not meant for Tony.
Jenny, did you just change your Zoom background to the Master's Lair?
I don't know what you're talking about. My podcasting setup has always been in the sunken church.
Wow.
So
Oh, we podcast above ground like one of them.
Whereas
Jenny-
newsflash, Cupcake, you're not one of them, and you'll never be one of them. Come on down to
So
Sunken Church
embarrassing.
Studios.
Both Joanna's fridge and
just
mine
been,
full
like-
of blood bags. No.
and quiche. Are we the three of this particular podcast?
We are.
Did you
the
guys
three
bring
of
your
us-
like odds and ends bits of armor to wear?
Yeah. Listen,
Um,
I think if the three of us walked by a biker bar in Sunnydale, we would scare the bikers away. I
Okay.
think we would.
Follow-up question, and it's a little early in the podcast to ask this question, I realize. What do you think the neo-Nazi population of Sunnydale is? There's at least 3 of them.
At least
And they're
three.
scared.
And like there's a biker bar. Part of me feels like we tried to figure out what this biker bar would be called last run, but I don't know if either of you have any thoughts. I don't. I have no idea. I was trying to do like something with the word demons and bikes. Then I was like, dykes on bikes. How can I play? I came up with nothing for the biker bar in Sunnydale.
Kristin, they can't even come up with a better name for 3 warrior vampires than the 3. How are they going to name a bar? They're out of
It's
names.
The espresso pump. We're not sending our best. We're not sending our best to Sunnydale.
It's just called like the gasoline pump. Like it's just everything is some kind of pump in Sunnydale.
There's the
Doesn't sound like any of my business.
It's I think the 3 is actually kind of sick as a name.
Oh.
Especially like that's the amount of effort you want to put into naming not even made it through the whole episode group of vamps, you know?
True.
I think if they were cooler, you're either really cool looking and your name is the 3, or you have a really sick name and these outfits. That's my opinion.
I don't know if this story
Fair.
is worth putting in the pod, but one time I worked at a restaurant called Park Avalon in New York City. And me and 4 other people decided that we were being treated like shit. And we were young enough and brave enough and dumb enough to say, in the middle of the busiest shift that we've got, we're walking the fuck out. And we did. 5 of us walked out the spinning door in the middle of the restaurant, left the tables, left everything to make the statement we felt we had to make. Had to find other jobs, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, I'm at a restaurant like a year later. Someone who I'm waiting on had worked or had just eaten at Park Avalon. I said, oh, I used to work there. And they said, oh, I work at one of the other restaurants owned by these folks. And I said, oh, I actually walked out of Park Avalon. And she looked at me and she said, are you part of the Park 5? And I was like,
I mean,
I have never felt cooler in my life than that.
That's a lot.
So
It's a lot
Yeah.
to be associated with. That is cool though. You're
so like
very cool.
my proposition is if you need the name to be cooler, just add something before 3. The something 3.
Right, the Hellmouth 3.
The
or
Hellmouth
like,
3.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The Des Moines 3, something like that. Like something
Des Moines 3. I'm so sorry, Des Moines. That wasn't. It's just
Respect.
Yeah, respect.
I do respect Des Moines.
I do. Best burger I ever had in Des Moines. Okay, so Joanna, you probably do. I feel like your knowledge of Buffy the Vampire Slayer runs deeper than either of ours, even now. Like
Absolutely not.
Well,
You guys have
I
spent
don't
the last what was it?
7
8 years studying
I know.
it.
But still, we came back to this and both Jenny and I were like, the Anointed One is in season 1? Like, had no recollection.
That is just like the well-written television effect. I feel like one season contains so much if you do it right that you feel like when you get to the end and turn around, you're like, that could not possibly have been all in season 1, but they just crammed it in there.
I like that. I like that framework, but assuming that your feelings on the Anointed One
Joanna
are...
does not buy it. Joanna does not buy my theory.
I was not surprised to see the annoying one here. But what's funny is that I was watching the episode a couple times last night, and Diana, my housemate, friend of the pod, was like half watching. She's like, "Is that a child?" Diana knows like the later seasons of Buffy very well, but not the early seasons. She's like, "Is that a child?" I was like, "That's the Anointed One, Colin with 2 L's. You don't know Colin?" You don't know about Colin?
How could he have two L's? How could it be?
He's skipping. I was really delighted to see that he's begins the episode seemingly skipping stones in what we've started to call the Master's Blood Puddle, which has incredible lighting on it from above. This has many purposes. If you have a small child in your lair, they can glean entertainment from skipping stones in your blood puddle. So,
and I feel like the Master was like was handing him the rocks, which was
he had
very
like a fist full of rocks.
Yeah, just for a few rocks more. Like it was very charming. Very, very sweet. Yeah, I don't know. I do remember Colin being here quite early. I think I just have weird, strong memories of season 1. I was so impressionable when I watched it, and it made such an impression on me. And I was so innocent in the way of television. So when it was like, it's the kid, actually, like that really got me. Yeah. His creepy little deep voice, like all of that really worked on me in a big way.
Well, he's here. He's skipping stones, and
he sure is.
Darla, of course, wants to kill Buffy. I mean, you guys, I didn't even really remember that Darla died this early. Like, I was like, wait, what? Because Darla has such a deep. I mean, out of like my top, Darla has to be in my top 5. And so, like, Darla.
What's your top 5, Kristin?
I don't know. I haven't made the list, but I know she's there. I know she has to be. I love her so much.
Whom else might be there?
I mean, Spike is there. Anya
Cordelia
is clearly there. What was the
Cordelia?
Name? Cordelia, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is Cordelia has the best arcs. The best arcs, I would say.
There might be 20 people in Kristen's top 5.
Yeah, I was like, Darla's
the way it goes.
top 5 is way too high for Darla. If you told me she's in your top 10, I could sit with it, but top 5 is an insane
I'll modify to say she's in my top 5 for like the arcs that impact me the most in the universe. But it has to include. That's the thing is that she dies in this episode, and I was like, what? Because the arc obviously has to. So Cordelia too. The arc has to extend through the angel of it all. But I love her, and I would have thought that she was so much more a part of the series if you had asked me before I rewatched season 1 for the billionth fucking time.
Darla is an interesting character with a very interesting backstory that does not seem to be accurately portrayed inside of this episode.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah.
In any of them. I mean, even in the ones we watched before, we're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her like Southern accent, like I know she like emigrates to Virginia allegedly like when she's young, but like she's got this weird like corn-fed accent in this episode, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that kind of like popped out right at the end, really. Like it kind of hasn't been there, and then all of a sudden there it was.
Top 5 Darla is I'm just gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the day. Darla's in your top 5.
Just I'll sit with it, and I'll check my facts, but
with love and respect to Julie Benz, like obviously, like I respect the character, I respect the actor. There are so many characters in this universe.
I know.
Kristin
well, I'm a little
Russo.
Dramatic, so it's possible
Riley?
that I'm wrong.
Anywhere?
Well, no, Riley's number 1, obviously, on every list.
Oh.
Character arc, any list you've got, Riley's
it's
number
like
1.
Riley, Adam, Maggie Walsh.
Maggie Walsh.
Yeah.
Always the two of them.
Warren Mears. Love him.
Amy Adams in that one episode.
I do love Amy Adams in that one episode, though. Okay. Can we talk
Ritter,
about the fumigation
okay,
party, or did I miss anything that you want to talk about before?
I just want to mention 2 things here. One is that the Anointed One has no problem just saying to the Master, if this Vampire Slayer was killing my minions, I would simply annihilate her. I would simply destroy her. What, have you thought about destroying her?
The Master's like, oh, good idea. Hot tip.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I just want to just like note here is that Darla is wearing a school uniform. And we can discuss it later, but we have noted it here.
Okay. Two different school uniforms. She has
2 different school uniforms.
2 different school uniforms.
2 totally different. It's not like away game, home game school uniforms. It's like 2 separate colorways entirely.
But you did say hoe game, and I
You
think
did
we
say
now
hoe game.
have to acknowledge that as part of Darla's game. I say supportively and in a sex positive.
Yeah.
yes.
Hell yeah.
No.
She's working her hoe game as much as she can in the side of this episode. I also like, and I believe this happens here, right? That like, you know, Colin with 2 L's is like, I would simply annihilate him, and Darla's like, let me. And the master with good management like skills is like, you're too close to this, Darla.
Yeah.
You're too
Yeah,
close
yeah,
to
yeah.
this.
Oh, you have a personal interest here. So at the Bronze, they're having a fumigation party. This is something I never picked up on the first watch at all. How did I miss it? And LaToya was, you know, like, is this a thing? This is where if one day, Jenny, we're going to have the white nonsense jingle, but LaToya was calling for the white nonsense jingle here at the fumigation party at the Bronze.
Just imagine patronizing an establishment that proudly announces it has to annually close to kill its roaches.
Teens.
Speaking of... Yeah, and they love it.
They
They're
love
like, ooh,
it.
a
It's
free
game.
drink.
It's fun.
And speaking of roaches, did anybody happen to notice at the very top of the scene the bartender who looks exactly like Saracusa in Yellow Jackets has this
The
big
shiniest
caterpillar mustache.
and the shiniest silver shirt you ever did see.
Yes,
I remember the
yes.
shirt, but I didn't clock the face.
It is
Wow.
crew neck, short sleeve, like plastic.
It's like not even short sleeve. It's like cap sleeves.
Yeah, it's
They
cap
are pulling up.
And here, his whole game was on point. And what I would recommend is that he make it sleeveless. I think the cap sleeves really
Just-
get in the way
Yeah.
of the whole vibe. And if he just like, cut those sleeves off, it would work for me.
They're removable, and because he also works at the Sunnydale Gay Bar, which is just called The Pump.
The pump. Is it right next door to the bicycle pump? Which is the biker bar?
Yeah. Yeah. People come in confused all the time. They just need their tires filled with
And
air
it's
on
like,
their
no, this
bicycles.
is where the neo-Nazi population of Sunnydale is.
So let me just tell you, because I can't carry this knowledge alone, that yes, Joanna, sorry. Yes.
I would just like to ask here at the beginning of all things, as your bits continue to pile up and you accumulate more and more bits, I would like to submit for consideration. Is this character going to the pump later, based on costume choices?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
On their way
Most
to the
likely
pump.
to go to the
Yeah,
pump later.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so LaToya looked up fumigation party, and you know what? This is what I'm saying about LaToya always putting in the hard work. And she found a Reddit thread where someone talked about a bar that they went to that had a rat bounty, a free drink there is an interesting twist, which is really why I include it. Free drink for anyone that killed a rat, but you get free drinks all night if you get this one very specific rat that had one eye and no one could kill.
Did it have a name?
Just the one-eyed rat is just how it's named in here.
Okay.
That's how you name a character. No! The one-eyed rat.
the one.
The one.
Oh my God.
Okay. Anyway, so killing roaches. The girls are falling in love with Angel and Xander.
Willow's like, we're having fun here. Where are you? Which is a funny line, but I'm like, are you having fun, Willow? Like, you're sitting there, Xander's trying to flirt with any unavailable female he can possibly find, and Buffy's on Mars. Is this fun? And there's cockroaches everywhere. Is this a good time, Willow Rosenberg? Are you having a great time?
And they're drinking their Diet Cokes and eating their like corn muffins or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I think it's just easier to have fun when you're a teen.
Okay, that hurt me somewhere deep. I think that's very true. I think that's really true.
I think it is too. There was a scene, Joanna, recently where Owen brought Buffy a corn muffin in the Bronze, which is why because I just can't get over that they're just eating corn muffins. But it really made me think about being a teen and how like there were just no rules for anything. You just did whatever the fuck you wanted, wherever the fuck you want. Eating a corn muffin at like a underage's bar where you could also dance just like would never occur to you as a bizarre thing at all. So
on the one hand, listen, the bronze continues to baffle us in terms of its own like brand identity, like endlessly. On the other hand, don't you feel like there's kind of a market for it? And should we open our own underage
Underage and overage.
both.
But we have the coolest bands, but also sometimes vampires bar?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I would go.
That's the trade-off. See Chibo Mato in an audience of 20, but also maybe get exsanguinated.
Yeah. Michelle Branch is here, but so are the cockroaches. Listen, do what
Risk
you gotta
v
do.
return. You know, you make the choice for yourself.
Xander's dancing. I know that I just said it's like really easy to have fun when you're a teen, but maybe it's like too easy. I just don't think this is the look. I don't think this is the look for Annie Vega. I certainly don't think this is the look for Buffy Summers. Maybe just keep your hands at your sides, you know?
Because Xander's an all-in kind of a guy, you know?
The dancing bothers me less than like hitting on someone whose boyfriend is like right there, which is just like a real Midge and Moose in the Archie comics move from Xander here.
Well, if you're not into Xander, don't worry. There's a tall, dark, and broody man who loves to stand. He stands at the doorway first, and he looks for the tiniest sliver of light he can find. And he's like, and that is where I shall stand and look upon the rest of the club. There he is.
It's the behind the stairs position that he takes.
What logical explanation for that light source can you offer us?
Nothing.
He's gonna tell a ghost story. And there's a fucking lava lamp over his shoulder. How am I supposed to take this man seriously?
Write that down, though. When we open the bronze, must have lava lamps everywhere.
Many lava lamps and multiple from beneath you.
It devours.
Belights.
It belights you.
Delights you.
So Buffy walks home from the bronze. She turns. She senses him because they are soulmates, obviously. But when she turns, he's gone. Did you just look at me like as though I meant that they were soulmates? I'm obviously being facetious.
I'm so sorry. Heavily laden with sarcasm. I apologize. Okay,
yeah. Oh, you both did? I only saw Jenny's eyebrows go like off the side of the screen. Yes. But she senses him. She turns around and he's gone. And then she's walking
wearing, and I want to talk about. I just want to talk about everyone's hoe game in this episode because everyone is like really bringing it. The sluttiest of deep V's on the white t-shirt. Just really.
Angel walked so American Apparel could run.
It's just like this is the Angel look for me. Is you know? Oh, and he's wearing. I found a fun fact on the Wikipedia, which is rarely the case. His Hugo Boss duster is worth over $1,000.
Oh my God.
Wait, Kristin, I love that you're surprised because I would bet at least $20 that I have said that exact sentence to you 7.5 years ago to the day.
I don't remember what you said 7.5 minutes ago, Jenny.
I know.
Come on.
But I love that caught your eye the way it has caught my eye as well. We are of one mind.
We're soulmates. Simpatico.
And I mean, we're soulmates. We're re-soulmates. What is $1,000 in 2024 money? Probably $1,500.
That's it?
It feels like it would be more. I don't know.
So too.
But like
that's a long time.
The duster plus and I just want to know what conversation Joss had where he was like, no, but we have to get him the coolest Hugo Boss duster we can possibly find. The phrase Hugo Boss is like the most 90s early aughts phrase I could possibly hear.
The master straight up is in a Party City jacket and fucking Angel is in a
Angel
Hugo
gets
Boss
$1,000. Okay, it would be $1,970 in 2025.
Almost double.
Oh, that's less than I thought. Okay. Well, anyway, it's dusting. It's looking great. The deep V is working. The hair is gelled within an inch of its life. We are just really doing it.
We're in it.
I don't know if this is correct or not, but later, obviously, Buffy will tell Angel to take his shirt off. And I thought maybe this is what inspires him to go from his tank tops and deep V tees to the button up. He's realized he should be able to get out of a shirt quickly at this point. And then after I thought that, he shows up at the Browns later at the end of the episode in a button up. So
easy access. I think if we had a race to get out of a t-shirt or a button up, a t-shirt would actually go faster.
It's the
See you at prom 2025.
It's the deep V. Consensually, it's the deep V every time. Yeah, this is also, I mean, are we skipping to the shirt off moment? We can go right there.
We can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want.
We can skip to the finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer the television series.
This is the most Buffy the movie coded, I think, that we get. Well, until we get to like prom, I guess. But like, because this is the Pike, Pike, come into my house, take off your shirt, you're wounded, let's dress the wound, let's get some ice. Like, let's look at your tattoos, you're so dangerous. Luke Perry, you're the ideal of a man in the world. Like, that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
We're Pike cosplaying for Angel, except with a twist that you'll never see coming. Because I don't remember a time where I didn't know that Angel was a vampire. I don't remember being shocked and surprised by this, but maybe I was.
I'm curious about original viewers. Like, was it a shock for original viewers? It's because it's hard to watch and not just know, but I can't undo what I know now. So, and Joanna, you don't remember in your first viewing being like, oh my God.
I actually think what's really possible is that I want to say I watched Buffy from the very beginning, but it's possible that I watched on a slight delay. And so I already knew that Angel was like, I definitely watched it in 97.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely it was harder to like catch up on a show that you were behind on. So, but it's also possible I like skipped a couple of the first episodes and then like came back or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I simply don't remember a time where I didn't know that she was a vampire slayer in love with a vampire. Like that was just sort of the core spine of the show.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, are we gonna roll back a sec?
Yeah, of course.
Can we discuss Good Dogs Don't Bite? Can we discuss someone's been reading 1001 quips to deploy while trying to impress a vampire slayer?
He knows that she quips, Yeah,
no, and he's trying to keep up.
He's
exactly.
like, I also quip. I don't just wear expensive Hugo Boss dusters. And I'm sure you've explored this. What's Angel's money source? How does he go from Riff Raff Street Rat to Hugo Boss dusters and, I don't know, using the entire Sharper Image catalog to furnish his apartment?
It's like we've theorized about just straight up taking things, not for Angel specifically, but like how does the vampire economy work? And then we've also theorized about like a underground vampire like capitalist or whatever system they're running down their world, where they have their own, nail salons where the master gets his nail done and they barter in kittens or, fill in the blank, whatever it is.
Sure.
But we also see Angel buy blood with money. We see Spike buy cigarettes. Eventually Spike's money source becomes Giles, but before they work that out, we've got vampires using money for sure.
Do you
Where
think
is
they
it coming
just
from?
keep cash, like from centuries ago?
Maybe it's. Consider generational wealth, and then imagine if you could be
you're your
all
own
of the generations.
Yeah, you're your own generational wealth as a vampire.
This is what I'm saying, and it gets a little foggy when we think about how he was living in, alleys and eating rats and stuff.
That's my
Where do you
question.
get these Ming
My question is
vases
not how
and
do
stuff?
100-year-old vampires have money, because they've just they've been able to be evil and rich for centuries. I absolutely get accumulating wealth. You can own plantations, you can do whatever creepy ass thing you want to do to accumulate that wealth. I guess he just made a choice. Maybe he had a massive bank account. He's like, I shall shun it and live in alleys.
Yes.
For my sins, I guess, is sort of what we're supposed to intuit.
Yeah, he was atoning for his sins, but not not quite to the point where he was going to give up all his money. Like he was
like, I'm not going to use any of it until I'm a good boy, until I've accrued some good boy points.
Until I meet a girl that I love and I must furnish my apartment in satin sheets and beautiful lamps and such.
Screens. There must be so many screens.
So many screens.
I just, like, all I ever want is the cutscenes of like Angel when he bought that screen, like unwrapping it, unboxing it, putting it around the light source and being like, this is good. Yeah, this is great.
Making the adjustment. Is this the right wattage for the bulb?
Is it too bright?
You want soft white. You want soft white for that.
Never cool.
Just to be clear.
Never cool.
When Buffy and Angel are running at top speed away from the three and into the Summers household, Buffy, thank God for Buffy's well-timed get inside over her shoulder.
It counts. An invitation is an invitation.
An invitation is an invitation. She's clearly directing an Angel, but then we see one little beclawed hand make it in over the threshold. LaToya's headcanon, which I like, is because his hand was so close to Angel as Angel was zooming through the door, he just sort of like caught the tail of the invitation. I'm
absolutely not, but I love the way LaToya's mind works. So. No,
I just feel like if Angel had a bloody wound, he'd be like, it's nothing, I'm fine. I feel like he wouldn't take his shirt off to be bandaged.
Oh, no. There's so many things he does in this episode, because if he's like playing the virtuous, I can't have you, but there's so more. When he says, you're even pretty when you go to sleep, is it? Or go to bed, whatever it is he says there. Like, I'm just like, this is not a man who is holding back in any way, that is trying to like, or like he didn't need to walk out when Joyce is still there, or like smirk when like she pretends to say goodbye to him and then invites him up to her room. Listen, I swoon as much as anyone over the Vampire Slayer forbidden romance of it all, but Darla is right at the end of the episode where she's like, what are you doing with a teenager? What's happening here? I'm like, give me the mug that says Darla was right, because she is.
But it tracks, like, as you were saying, that whole list of things where, you know, Angel is like, I couldn't possibly, all I can see in my mind's eye is him standing in the mist by the fire trucks after graduation day. He's like, I'm out of here after that. I am leaving. And then he's just like standing, looking like he can. He's Angel, the most dramatic boy that ever lived.
So are you 16 when you're a sophomore?
You can be.
Okay, so just some quick little
15, 16, but yeah.
Quick little hell math. 243 divided by 16 is 15 and change. So 15 of Buffy's lifespan could fit inside of Angel's lifespan at this point.
We're not supposed to look there.
Guys, she's an old soul. And it's
He could at least have the decency, like some other vampires I know, to put on the facade of going to high school over and over again.
I mean, Buffy doesn't even think Joyce will believe that he goes to high school. She's like, community college.
That's so funny. At first I was like, is she talking about the Salvatores? And then I was like, oh, wait, is she talking about the Cullens? And
I'm talking about
why not both? Why not both?
Vampires love going to high school, Joanna. Except this one.
It's the hypocrisy for me, because like, okay, Angel, you fallen in love with a 15-year-old. Don't pretend that you have virtue in you around this. This is not what's happening here. Anyway,
agree. And he gets credit for his virtue just for not sleeping in the same bed or trying to kiss her. I just try to put myself at 16, and like, if this is me, I'm kissing this boy. I couldn't believe that she did not kiss this boy.
Oh yeah. Of course.
You're in your room I wouldn't have said there's only one bed and that's not going to work. I would have said, oh, well. Oops.
There's only one bed.
There's only one bed. Guess we'll have to share. Let's make a pillow wall between us. Oops, what happened in the night? It went away. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, no. There's only one bed is, of course, like one of the world's most famous tropes. And somehow we still didn't get the sparks flying the way we wanted to. And then Angel just hung out in her room all day. I have some questions about you, Angel.
Yeah. I remember like the line that if you said, tell me something about what happens in the episode Angel, I would say Buffy asks him if he snores and he says, it's been a long time since anyone has been around to let me know. That was burned into my like 35-year-old heart or however the fuck old I was when I watched this for the first time.
I don't have a formal list and Darla is nowhere in the top 5, but I have like a top 20 like most important moments in this episode, and that's definitely one of them. Mm-hmm. But also things like barbecue fork. I mean, there's just like a lot of iconography that comes out of this episode. The blinds, as the aforementioned blinds, the mini blinds, like, yeah, his interior decorating choices. There's a lot of stuff that's happening here.
Can we talk about his body decoration choice?
Yeah, I looked it up.
About his tattoo.
I looked it up, actually. Probably I've already looked it up, but I looked it up again.
What can you tell us about it?
Hold on, let me get to my
Kristin,
let me get to my
tell us
information.
everything you know about Angel's tattoo.
I know that Joss didn't give a fuck what it was. He just said yes to Todd McIntosh, the makeup artist. But it's based on an illustration from the Book of Kells, I think. An illuminated manuscript gospel book.
I know the Book of Kells.
The Book of Kells. It is the Lion of St. Mark. And that feels like the important stuff.
Okay, Kristin. All as the budding theologian of the pod.
Truly.
It's my duty. Mm-hmm. It's my duty to tell you that the 4 evangelists each have their own symbol, right? Mm-hmm. So St. Mark has a lion. Can you tell me what any of the other 3... Actually, this goes to both of you.
It's Mark, Peter, Paul, and Mary, right?
It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Ever heard of them?
Luke, right. Yeah. Yes. And this is, what did I just say?
This is their Patronus? Is that what you're saying? Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their Patronus. St. Mark's Patronus is a lion. Any guesses what the Patronus of St. John is?
A bear.
Got a bear from Kristin.
An eagle.
Fucking ding, Joanna Robinson.
Joanna, what the
Eagle
fuck?
is correct.
Are you kidding me?
Okay. Saint Luke. Any takers?
Snake.
Ooh, snake's so good. I'm gonna go bear on this one. That sounds good.
It's an ox, but like bear is so close.
Okay.
At least much closer.
Right. If I had said ox and then you had said no and I had said ox is kind of close to bear, you would have thrown me off the screen.
Let's be clear. Ox, the bear of the field. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Okay, and last one, St. Matthew. This one's a bit outside the box as a hint.
So it's not an animal?
I don't know. What's in a box? What's out of a box? What the fuck?
Pandora. Does it have wings?
I was gonna say it.
It does have
I can't
wings.
guess what I'm gonna guess because Joanna, you guess first.
Well, I'm gonna say dragon.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna say dragon, and I was like, Joanna has earned guessing dragon. So
okay, and your guess is also dragon.
I'll go with
hippogriff.
I was gonna go with pterodactyl. So let's
pterodactyl.
Really outside of the box.
I have a tattoo of the St. Matthew pterodactyl on my
Beautiful friends. You're both so close, and yet, so far, it's an angel.
When you said that, I actually thought that's what got me to wings. But like, they're not angel. But that's weird.
Pterodactyls, the heavens angel.
The angel of
the holy pterodactyl.
There it is. The holy pterodactyl.
I would get that tattoo. But here's my follow-up question to you. Do you think they put the Book of Kells in here because they're like, we can't wait to give you Angel's backstory, which is that he is Irish? Because the Book of Kells is Celtic, right? So it's just sort of like, we asked David if he could do an Irish accent. We didn't ask him to try it. We just asked him if he could do it. And he was like, yeah. And we were like, okay, great.
He said, who can't?
He said, yeah, I can play the guitar. And I can do an Irish accent, no problem. And in his head, he's like, what's so hard? I can learn. Have I told you guys, and I probably have because I've been on this podcast before, but have I told you, and I think about it all the time with such great shame, that when David Boreanaz joined Twitter, I trolled him because I didn't really understand how Twitter worked. And then I think he blocked me.
This sounds familiar to
In
me.
what way did you troll him? What was your strategy?
One of the worst things I've ever done, I think.
Was it Irish accent trolling specifically?
No, I was just like, he would just tweet about something and he would misspell something and I'd be like, I don't know. I was brand new to Twitter and I was just like, no way David Boreanaz is going to see this.
Right.
So it's just funny to me. And then he blocked me. Then I was like, oh no, I was just one of those assholes relentlessly like henpecking some poor man's Twitter feed for no good reason. And so now when like people do it to me, as they do sometimes, I'm just sort of like, oh, they don't understand that I see this. It is hurtful if it's every day, which it was for me. I genuinely don't know what I was thinking at all. I was just sort of like, Angel's here. How exciting. I'll make fun of his spelling. What an asshole. What a fucking asshole.
What if he like still unpacks it in therapy, you know?
What if like, that bitch got on me for spelling ketchup wrong. Like, I don't really understand why. And I don't have an answer for you, David Boreanaz. I don't.
When you are bandaging the naked torso of your potential love interest, how close is your face to their face?
Their faces are inside of the other person's mouth. They are so
They're
close.
already
It is
kissing?
insane.
Somehow the kiss is a letdown because they've already enmeshed earlier. How could she even see what she's doing?
Remind me of the exact scenario. Is someone on a counter? Like, are we?
He's like leaned
he's kind
on
of
a
like
counter.
leaning.
He's lean.
His hands are behind him, and he's like got his arms back a little bit, and he's like, his face is like a little bit higher than hers, but they've got to be like 2 inches away, and she's like, "How did you happen to come along?" And he's all like, "Maybe I like you."
Again, really restraining himself around the 15/16-year-old. I had questions about heights. I have questions about height later when he gets a crucifix blistered on his chest. One of the most important moments that has ever happened in all of television ever. One of the most important things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, roll over Beethoven and Da Vinci. Like, this is art to me. But height-wise, how did the crucifix get all the way up there?
Jesus, the kiss was so good. Jesus wanted to be part of it too.
No, he picked her up by the waist and just sort of levitated her about 8 inches off the ground.
Yeah. And then she just sort of like angled her sternum so that they could
Even if they were the same height, how do you get your breastbone against someone else's breastbone while you're...
It's true. It feels more like a laying down risk than a standing up risk.
It feels like I would have to pick the crucifix up and then actively press it into his breastbone. This is one of the most important things that's ever happened on television. So for me to nitpick it is so stupid. But like, he's a full ass head taller than she is. So I have some questions.
And it's not a slight burn. It is a full cross deep burn. It was there the whole time.
It's blistering.
Blistering.
She doesn't smell the flesh smoking.
Would you? Honestly.
Maybe when your flesh is no longer living, it is odorless as it sizzles.
I agree.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer, available to you wherever you get your podcasts. At the library, I would like to say that Xander's being a little bitch, which is predictable and everything that we expect.
You know what's devastating? And again, friend of the pod, Diana, articulated this to me last night. She's like, oh, is Xander right? And I was like, oh, Xander's like not entirely right, obviously, because he's doing one of those like, you know, kick his ass sort of moments, but like he's a little bit right inside of this episode. And I hate that for me, for you, and for all of us.
Well, he's doing two things. He's being right. I mean, not like hard stop right, but like there's
Lowercase r, you know?
Yeah, like there is a very valid point that he is making. But also when I say he's being a little bitch, it's because the reason that he's making his point is because he likes Buffy and wants Angel out of the picture, which is like, that's why he gets a lowercase r. Cause it's like, yes, technically this is a very dangerous vampire and your job is to kill vampires. But also Xander is like, well, he was in your bed. You were naked. What? Like just that shit is the little bitch of Xander.
Yes, of course. Yeah. He's a little bitch. Occasionally Xander's right. A broken clock and a Xander Harris are right, like, you know, twice a day or whatever. But he's gonna be a little bitch about it while he's right. Absolutely. That's just a truism.
I do want to give Xander legitimate credit for one thing that he does in the episode, which is later, when Buffy is blaming herself about Joyce. He very genuinely tells her not to blame herself. And I feel like it is, especially in the Angel Buffy verse arc of it all, one of the only times that he will ever suggest that Buffy not blame herself. So just want to give him a little bit of credit there. And maybe because of that encouragement, he will continue to do it this time through the series instead of what he actually does.
It is a good moment for Xander when he does that.
So we learn about the three, they're warriors, blah, blah, blah.
They're not just warriors, they're warrior vampires, Kristin, which I made a note just really for myself that the warrior vampire is a distant cousin of the warrior princess, which is stupid. But now that I've had a moment to reflect on it, I actually think that, okay, we've talked a little bit about the Buffy, Faith, Xena, Callisto big arc parallels. There is a lot of overlap there, but also now consider actually that maybe Xena is even more of a template for Angel than for Buffy, because she is a tall brunette on a quest for redemption that she'll never ever be able to achieve to her own satisfaction.
Wow.
Do you remember that episode of Xena where she's like, am I a righteous man?
Yeah, where she's like diddly-eyed potatoes. Totally.
Does that make Gabrielle Buffy? Like, is that what we're saying?
I mean, maybe.
They both fight with a quarterstaff, so, you know?
Yes, and they're both blondes, and they're petite compared to their brunette counterparts, and she's a bit of a goody two-shoes. Yes?
Oh, Joanna brought up the quarterstaff and also earlier brought up how you were really eyeing Giles a lot in this episode. And so I just wondered how you felt about Giles in all of his padding.
In the pads. Listen,
in the pads for the quarterstaff.
We approve safety. This is OSHA approved technique. We love Giles for his brain, and we want to protect that brain. So if it involves the doofy pad around the head so that he doesn't get concussed like an NFL player, then I support it. You know what I mean?
I think he's been concussed 3 times already before we've gotten here.
Giles smart.
Yeah, maybe he should wear the helmet all the time, you know?
Maybe.
Honestly, he could benefit.
Jenny, this is like the debut of the crossbow. Buffy cannot wait to get her hands on it.
Nemesis. The origin story of my woe. The crossbow has entered the chat, much to my dismay.
I only think about you when I see a crossbow, and I'm like, oh, she's so mad wherever she is. She's so mad.
Begins.
Is it because it's quite an inefficient weapon?
It's so inefficient. And they're always like entering a battle scene being like, haha, forsooth, my crossbow. And then they shoot something and miss. And then they shoot their second bolt. And then they're out of bolts. Then they need to take precious moments.
What if they had like a bandolier of bolts? Would that change
I would celebrate a bandolier of bolts, but I don't think that technology has been pioneered yet.
Okay. At our future club, the Bronze, I think we should have a side hustle. Or maybe we will fund the opening of the Bronze by manufacturing and selling bandoliers of bolts. Because I agree with you. It's ridiculous to not have... at least when you have a bow and arrow, you have like a quiver, so you have at least like a few arrows. Sometimes people only have like 10 arrows knocking around. That's not really great as far as I'm concerned. And then what do? Go around and pull them out of the bodies of your slain foes. If you're Legolas, sure. But like, I just think that I agree on the bolt front, but I do think that Goodbye Steak's hello flying fatality is a very important line in the history of television.
I'm going to be thinking about the phrase bandolier of bolts for at least 3 days. It's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I would like to call something, a band, a store, something, bandolier of bolts.
It's what we deserve, I think.
Right? Okay, we've talked about the fact that Angel waited for Buffy at home all day. Do you guys have memories of like dating someone and the first time that they stayed at your house all day? Like you went to work and you came back and they were still there. That's like a thing for me.
No.
Jenny? Does the cheese stand alone?
The cheese stands alone.
It just like feels like a level of intimacy that like I remember like either being that person who like so I worked at an art gallery for a while in my history, and so the art gallery was closed on Sundays and Mondays. And so when I first started dating one of my exes, she would go to work on Monday and I would just like hang out at her house and be there when she came back. And it just felt like the next level of intimacy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I have another question for you, and this is a great question. I'm glad you moved us along, but I'm going to take us back, and I do apologize. And I want to ask you this question. Do you think Buffy Summers actually knows who Friar Tuck is? Or do you think the only way she knows who Friar Tuck is because she saw Robin Hood because Christian Slater is in it?
Yep.
In the same way that
Sharon
Clueless can quote Hamlet because Mel Gibson was in Hamlet.
You know, given the time and given we know Buffy likes James Spader, I think she might be down for Kevin Costner too. I think she might have been like A and B, actually.
My mind actually went to the cartoon. So with the fox, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, but they don't quarterstaff fight in the cartoon.
Oh, you should have known better than to try to know something about cartoon Robin Hood that Joanna wouldn't know. Famously.
That's true. She would have only gotten the Friar Tuck of it all, not the quarterstaff of it all.
She'd be like, I'm not going to burn some soup like Friar Tuck, you know? Actually, I'm so sorry. It's Robin Hood who burns the soup. I for that slander. Friar Tuck. But yeah, the quarterstaffing is a great piece of Hood lore, but I just question whether or not Buffy would ever be able to make that joke. But if she can, and I'm underestimating her, I support her in it.
I support your theory.
Slater based.
Can we? Okay, if we're moving to the Angel is home,
of course, yes.
I just want to talk about the opening sound clip that we played because Buffy trying to back out of her diary reveal is, in my opinion, classic Buffy Summers, and I love it so much, especially when she does not as bad of a job as she's done on other things, like telling Owen that like her clock broke and that's why she didn't show up for a date. Her watch broke and they have no clocks, I think was her lie. But she says that, you know, it was actually the exchange student Ahmed that the A stood for. That's quick thinking. Another A name.
Charming foreign exchange student.
Charming. Charming. But I just love this, and I love that this is how Angel confirms that Buffy also thinks he's pretty, you know?
I just need to take issue with one thing that she has to say, which is hunk can mean a lot of things, bad things, and I would just like to here and now state very clearly that this podcast celebrates hunks and it never means bad thing, and we love hunks, and I, as the resident hunkologist, have the power and authority invested in me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To lay down this law and to say that this is one instance where Buffy is wrong. It doesn't happen a lot in these early seasons.
Okay, follow-up question. Far be it from me to interrogate the hunkologist. You have the credentials. I do not. I'm a mere dabbler. But my question is this. What if you use hunk in the phrase hunk of junk? in that case, is hunk negative.
Well,
What a hunk of junk. You know what I mean?
Sure. If it's a hunk of something,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's indicated, we can infer with confidence that she has referred to a hunk, hard stop, repeatedly in her diary. A is a hunk.
Yeah. Nothing
You know?
nothing bad is hunky. Like if it's hunky, like it's good.
Yeah.
But if there's a preposition after the hunk, we might be in trouble.
If something disgusting has been divided into quantities or shapes we could refer to as hunks of that thing,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do about
But the
that.
responsibility of that lands on the thing, not the hunk.
Correct.
Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure we all drilled down on that as deeply as we could.
It's really important. Welcome to the podcast.
Okay, they kiss. They fucking kiss. We've talked about it already. I just want to say this kiss is good. It's a good kiss. On-screen kiss, A+.
10 out of 10. No
Also,
notes.
the scream after he fucking vamps is pretty good. I don't remember if we found this out, but is this Sarah Michelle Gellar's scream? Because you know how it isn't in Hush? Like, is this her scream?
Whose scream is it in Hush?
I don't know whose it is, but it was overdubbed.
Can I tell you a fun fact?
Yes.
Please.
My childhood
What
best friend,
fun
Meredith Eves, who was not my adulthood best friend, but my childhood best friend, Meredith Eves,
Burning Meredith Eves.
her aunt was the scream double for Kate Capshaw in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, in which Kate Capshaw does a lot of screaming, but it's not her, it's a double. And that was like one of the first facts I remember about like Hollywood isn't real. I was like, what do you mean someone else is screaming?
I'm
She's
sorry.
like, it's my aunt.
Joanna, I have a long running history on this podcast of rating horror screams. It is like truly one of my passions, and the winner is Patricia Arquette. But I have never heard the phrase scream double, and I am about to lose my mind. I didn't know it was like a proper title, you know, like that is your job.
To maybe preserve the vocal cords of your leading lady, you don't make her scream, and so you get someone else. I don't know how often it's done, but I do know that Kate Capshaw, it's not like Kate Capshaw was like the biggest star in the world when she was in Temple of Doom, so it's not like she was like, you know, got to protect the vocal,
right.
golden
But also some
chords
people,
here.
there's probably some people who are incredible performers who also just can't nail a scream. You know, like it's a hard thing to do to get a good scream.
The scream is blood curdling, is how I would describe it. I would also say that, like, again, to amp up the drama of the episode, Angel vamps out and then is just like stands there snarling. Like, that's all he can do. It's like,
And then still throws himself out the window.
say something.
Listen, it's different for vampires. They have, you know, urges they can't control, desires they don't understand. There's a terrible pain in his forehead, and he's very distracted.
Do you think so? This is the first. No, obviously we saw prosthetic. This is the first time we see David Boreanaz in the prosthetic. Do you think at the end of the however many hours, I know it's on the Wikipedia, but I don't have it in front of me, however many hours he spent in the makeup chair getting vamped out, do you think David Boreanaz saw that and was like, yes?
Nice. High-fiving himself in the makeup chair.
Is he like, this is it, we've nailed it? Or is he like, have I made a huge mistake? I love the vamp makeup because it means a lot to me personally. But I have to say, like, because, you know, Dave Boreanaz is so new to the industry, sight unseen, he's hired onto this, like, you know, vampire project, and he's like, oh, we're going with this. This is what we're doing. And again, it means a lot to me, and I think it looks great. But if I were him, I might have been like, oh, okay. You know?
I want to live in a world where he's like, I look so fucking cool right now.
He's like, Bela Lugosi never had to do this, as far as I know.
Also, like, prankster David Boreanaz, like, I don't know when that David Boreanaz was born. Like, did he just show up on set as a prankster? Like, you know, there's so many stories about him, like, eating onions before the kissing scenes and da-da-da-da-da. Was he already a prankster? Did he get up to nonsense with his vamp face because of that? Or did he need to get comfortable on set for a season before he started pranking? These are questions. You know what? You actually have such a good relationship with him online, Joanna, that you might be able to ask him.
To be clear, it's the only person I've ever done. I wasn't doing it indiscriminately. It was just one person, and I regret to inform you it was David Boreanaz.
I was doing it discriminately.
Okay, Buffy screams like bloody murder, and then Joyce comes up with her Joyce hair. It looks incredible. And is like, what happened? And she says, nothing, I saw a shadow. And Joyce leaves it there. Joyce leaves it right there.
Joyce is leaving a lot right there. We're going to talk about some other things Joyce leaves right there very soon.
Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel right and feel great, no matter what life or some monster of the week might throw at you. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. And Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. As your average multi-hyphenate, singer, songwriter, musician, podcaster, soon-to-be published author, and parent, I can definitely say from experience that it is really hard to find balance in the modern world. That's why I love Factor. Their delicious meals and awesome add-ons are quality fuel that keep the engine running and save precious time. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/buffering50off and use code buffering50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code buffering50off at factormeals.com/buffering50off to get 50% off free shipping on your first box.
For years, skincare products have promised to fix lines and wrinkles and crepey skin, but rarely do they ever deliver lasting results, which is where today's sponsor, OneSkin, changes literally everything. In honor of National Women Inventors Month, we're highlighting OneSkin's founding team of female scientists who have developed a whole new approach to skincare. It starts at the cellular level. They have a proprietary OS1 peptide, and it's the first peptide scientifically proven to reverse skin aging by switching off the dysfunctional senescent cells that cause the lines, the wrinkles, and the crepey skin. I've been using OneSkin's facial moisturizer and eye cream for almost a year at this point, and I will not go back to anything else. It is truly the best skincare that I have used, and I have used many products. OneSkin believes the purpose of skincare is not just to improve how you look, but to optimize your skin's biology at that cellular level, so it's more resilient to the aging process. And who doesn't want to celebrate women in STEM? Founded and led by an all-woman team of skin longevity scientists, OneSkin is redefining the aging process with their proprietary OS1 peptide, the first ingredient proven to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Invest in the health and longevity of your skin with OneSkin. Your future self will thank you.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
All right, over at Sunnydale High, the Sunnydale High courtyard, the very locale where we will be celebrating together in the corporeal flesh.
3 of us.
The 3.
Just a couple months' time.
Yeah.
The 3. Yeah.
Torrance. Okay, Giles says this, right? He says a vampire isn't a person at all. It may have the movements, the memories, even the personality of the person that it took over, but it's still a demon to the core. There is no halfway. Is that our understanding? This has to be our understanding when Angel becomes Angelus, right? Like that has to be the whole thing, is like your boyfriend's gone. Even though there's like some moments of like hesitation, but like for the most part your boyfriend's gone. But I would argue when we get to Spike,
Yeah, what if there's a little chip in somebody's head?
it's not even the chip. It's the sort of just like pathetic neediness of Spike that is just eternal for him. That that love sickness. Like, so does that fall under the umbrella of the memories, even the personality of the person that it took over, but it's a demon? Like, I think we're meant to think of Spike as William, you know? Liam, not so much. Like, you know, we can... Also, have we talked enough about the fact that both Angel and Spike are William? We have. You guys have talked about that, right? Like, you've talked about that a lot.
No, this was a moment that Jenny recently had where I thought, like, maybe someone had died by the, like, tenor that she came into the text thread with. So I don't think we talked about it a lot. It's new.
Really important to note that Liam is a diminutive form of William. And William is the regular form of William. And the Buffy has a type, and it's vampire named
just
William.
Bill. It's just Vampire Bill. Roll over Suki Stackhouse. No, but I think
exactly.
I don't know. I feel like we get a lot of lore inside of this episode that feels slightly incorrect. And I told you guys before we started, and like, you know, the claw coming in through the door is maybe one of them. But this one is like, I don't know. Maybe I need to like do a complete rewatch of Buffy to feel like I get and I definitely have the time to do that. But like, to understand where exactly the show comes down on like, are you still yourself when you're a vampire?
The only thing they seem to like be very consistent on, in my opinion, is that there's no remorse for the killing. Like, that feels like the universal trait of a vampire without a soul. But
your personality clings to your cells, but your soul takes your sort of conscience, your sense of responsibility, your guilt, your shame when it leaves your vessel.
And not having guilt or shame is what makes you a demon. The definition of demon is being able to kill without remorse. Okay. Misty Quigley, Yellow Jackets, demon. We love her. Demon.
Thrilled to report I'm in absolutely no danger of ever becoming a demon.
You're whatever the opposite of a demon is. Turn a demon inside out.
Angel, racked with shame.
Okay. All right. Let's hear this exchange between Xander and Buffy and Giles outside of Sunnydale High, because I think it's a core beat for them.
All right. You have a problem, and it's not a small one. Let's take a breath and look at this calmly and objectively. Angel's a vampire. You're a slayer. I think it's obvious what you have to do.
It is a slayer's duty.
Yeah, I know you have feelings for this guy, but it's not like you're in love with him, right? You're in love with a vampire? What, are you out of your mind?
I mean, we've talked about this clip already, really. We've talked about the fact that Xander is not wrong. He's lowercase r right. And this is the most complicated bit of seasons 1 and 2 and 3. Maybe, and part of even 4. This is the thing. This is it. How do you love a vampire when you're a slayer?
Repeatedly.
Over and over. Any vampire you can find.
Relentlessly.
Endlessly.
Shout out to Cordelia. She has seen somebody wearing the same dress as her. And this is, you want to talk about clueless. This is like a full Cher moment for Cordelia when she's like, this is exactly what happens when you sign these free trade agreements.
I shrieked in my living room last night. NAFTA! A NAFTA shout class presentation on NAFTA. Fun fact. Yeah, she starts she says Todd Oldham, and then she says free trade agreements, and I was like, 1990s. It's so good to be here. She also grabs that girl's dress, like yanks it back so she can look at the label, like just absolute reign of terror from Queen Cordelia in this episode.
Okay, we're at Angel's house. There's a lot of old books, of course. Darla's here. Is this the first or the second schoolgirl outfit?
Still the first, but we're seeing it for the second time.
Okay.
Are we just assuming that she's selected the Catholic school uniform because, like, to get under his skin?
Yeah, to fuck with him.
To, like, troll him for
because he's falling in love with a
16-year-old.
Yeah. Because he's falling for a high school girl. And she's like, dude, seriously? This is why Joanna wants the mug.
Last time I saw you, it wasn't high school girls. Put it on the merch.
That's on the other side of the mug. I have in my notes Julie Benz for president, holding up my theory that Darla's one of my top 5 characters of all time.
No, her whole game is on point here. When she says, remember Budapest, turn of the century, you were such a bad boy during that earthquake. Like, absolutely icon level shit from Darla inside of this episode.
Also, I love this. Like, I know it's just one of her many lines and whatever, but like the idea of a natural disaster being like their favorite thing because it's like picking fruit off the vine. Like everyone is panicked and in the streets, and like that is a very delicious image for me, like from a vampire's perspective. Very nice.
She's talking about his hunger, his need, and she says, you can feel it brewing inside of you. I hope I'm around when it explodes.
Absolutely none.
Yeah, Darla walked so Faith in Buffy's body can run with Spike later on, just some warm champagne.
Darla. Yeah.
Didn't sound like anything to me.
None of your...
Absolutely fucking none of my business.
None of your business.
This is just...
We all know the Angelus history, but Giles is going to give it to us, respectfully, Angelus' history in the library. There's no record of him killing anybody after he came to America. It's so curious. But when he was in Ireland and everywhere else, he was a monster. He was wreaking havoc. He was killing everyone.
I think my favorite thing about this episode that I was not had not stuck. As many of the things about this episode that are so iconic, that are like emblazoned upon my brain for all time. One thing that I didn't recall was Willow just like clinging to the romance at every turn, including in this scene when they're trying to talk about like Angel's history of like murder sprees and stuff. And she's like, that must have been so embarrassing when you thought he had read your diary, but then it turned out he hadn't, but then he felt the same way.
Also, her sweet, takes Xander out of it for me personally, but like the fact that she's like, I have this fantasy that Xander's going to grab me and kiss me right on the lips. Like, it's just...
Dare to dream bigger, my darling. Dare to dream bigger. And then she says, Buffy says, you want Xander, you gotta speak up, girl. And every time Buffy says girl, I just want to crawl into a rock and die.
Does it go past season 1? I feel like it can't. Every time she does something like this in season 1, I'm like, no,
it's not available to you, Buffy Summers. This is not available to you.
Is it?
No.
Yeah.
Like...
I love that Darla is eavesdropping, like both for intel but also for jealousy. Like,
for like
definitely feeling some feelings in the stacks back there,
Do you feel like she is also from beneath you? It belights you, lit in this library scene, Jenny?
Every vampire in this episode walking around with a flashlight in their pocket.
It's like instead of Heelys, the sneakers with wheels, they have like lighties. They're just like when they walk, the light turns on.
Or maybe Sunnydale is just full of like sewer grates that are like well lit or whatever, and you just like
they live down there, so they actually can do that. When they spotlit the Master's puddle, they also filled up the uplights.
All the grates, especially the one in the Sunnydale High School library. That one got like mega lightage. Yeah, absolutely.
That's just natural lighting from the Hellmouth. Okay, so Darla's up. By the way, Darla killed the 3 in like the most anticlimactic thing. These warrior vampires
this seems like
who could
such
not
a waste.
be defeated.
When the Slayer's out there killing all your people, and then you're like, it didn't work the first time, so I'm gonna just kill off 3 of the most like badass. They're in the books. They're known. Just throwing them out
but
like
they've
trash.
never lost before.
But this
Like,
is the ritual. They have to offer themselves up as sacrifice, and you find
if
whatever
she didn't do it,
what little joy you can in life. Sometimes a little joy is enough. And also, Julie Benz's gleeful face as she staked them brought me more than a little joy.
It pleases me too. I'm just saying, from the Master's perspective, he's not exactly, flush with vamp power at this point.
But I think he's flush with minions. Like, I feel like there are so many books in that library filled with legendary warriors that are just sort of banging around the continental United States waiting to be employed.
And like, who doesn't want to go to the Hellmouth? It's kind of like the ultimate test, So they died with honor.
Do you think there's like a minion temp agency, and should we write this show where someone like the Master needs like the 3, and it's like, call Janice at Central Casting and she will get you what you need?
Mm-hmm. Picturing a very like Beetlejuice-esque
totally.
office, right? Yeah.
Please hold. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a demon out there in the world and you get called to stand up against somebody in Sunnydale, California, you're fucking going. Like, you're going.
Did you hear there's a Slayer running around Sunnydale on top of the Hellmouth? And she's real tiny and blonde. You could take her.
You could take her, and then you'll be in the history books all over again.
Don't worry about all the other people we've already sent to Sunnydale who never returned. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so Darla's concocted her plan. The way that Buffy's going to die is Angel's going to kill her, and Angel's going to kill her because Buffy's going to want to kill Angel. And as we learn, Buffy will want to kill Angel because Angel has threatened to almost killed her mom, Joyce Summers. Joyce is at home drinking coffee. She's in her pajamas, but she's kept her lipstick beautifully done. Red, poppin' red lips.
Is a dark lip, and that is a full pot of coffee at night. Okay, Lorelai. Okay, Ruby's mom. I know she's doing her taxes. I know this episode came out on tax day eve.
I'm sorry. Did you just reference Ruby's mom from the X-Files, who puts all of her cups of coffee at the end of the counter?
And the Gilmore Girls.
Deep fucking cut. Deep cut. Okay.
I love, the detail from the script that she's doing her taxes. I just do want to zoom back really quickly. I know we said we were just going to plow forward, and yet here I am dragging us back.
Nobody
into
wants
hell,
it.
But
none of us want to,
the only description of Angel's apartment in the script is that there's like a stack of old books against one wall. That's as far as like David thought in terms of Angel's apartment. There's a stack of books. And I just want to know who. Was it Joss, or was it a production designer who's like, we're going sleek, modern, modern lighting, shoji screens, rumpled bedding. Like, whose vision was this? And were they then later brought in to decorate the mansion? Like, was it the same genius behind the mansion decoration? These are my questions.
It starts with the cement,
the brutalist sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. And then from there, what are you really going to do? You kind of got to go in only one of a few directions.
I don't know. I feel like we could soften with some drapes and tapestries if we wanted to. And we don't need to go with the lighting. Anyway, sorry. Continue on. Joyce is wrestling with the IRS all night. She's got a lot going on.
I don't think you get a lot of jump scares in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Darla at the window in full vamp phase is a jump scare. I know because my own wife jumped completely off the couch, terrified.
I just feel like if I'm Darla in this scenario and I have a little prank planned where I'm going to get let in and perfectly time out lying to Joyce, convincing her that I'm tutoring Buffy on a whole different war because people are always getting tested on multiple wars at the same time in history class. And then I'm going to bank on Angel walking by, looking in the window, seeing nothing, preparing to leave, and then hearing a scream at exactly the right moment to lure him inside. If I'm doing all of that, I'm probably not going to risk fucking up the flow that I have carefully architected by putting on my vamp face outside of the window when Joyce could very easily turn around. Is anybody with me on this?
I am, but I am totally with you.
Thank you.
What you're saying is it's a preposterous plan. It shouldn't have worked at all. It does. And maybe she knew that Joyce is doing her taxes, and like nothing will distract Joyce from
nothing would break that
wrestling
wall.
with the IRS. You know.
Also, like I think that the thing that we're all missing, or actually that we have, is a soul. And I think that, you know, in addition to all the other things that Giles explained about being a vampire, it's very clear to me that in addition to losing the soul, you also gain the drama. Like, it just comes with it. Like, you have to be dramatic as a vampire. You can't just be like chill and do your
and
plan
she knows
without...
that Joyce won't be able to see her Catholic school outfit because the window is pretty high up. So she's got to work with what she's got, which is just right here.
She's in the red outfit by now, right? Or is she still in the blue?
She's still in the blue.
So the red is just
for guns.
For the showdown.
Just for the bronze.
Guns.
Just for guns blazing.
Okay, so
this collar. Where do you find a collar this round, even in 1997? Okay, I'm sorry. Forward.
No, don't be sorry. But thrift store, definitely. She thrifted for these schoolgirl uniforms. I think.
do love, with love and respect to Julie Benz, who's just like beautiful and dewy and luminous. The fact that like Joyce is like, you're telling me this guy's a student, and then Julie Benz, an entire adult human, walks up and she's like, oh yes, I see how round your Peter Pan collar is. You must be a student, and you must be tutoring my daughter.
You sound just like a Disney princess.
She has Disney princess voice. That like gets you. Let me tell you, as somebody who has watched, not by my own will or desire, but because I've been held hostage by certain parties who shall remain nameless. But look, I've absorbed the film Frozen a lot of times in the last couple of months. And what I can tell you is that Kristen Bell, with her little pretty princess voice, sounds like she could be, I don't know, at least a teen in a Disney movie. Why not? You know who doesn't sound like that? Idina Menzel. Wow.
Smoky and sultry.
Yeah.
At all times.
She's raspy, you know.
Yeah.
She sounds like she smoked a lot of cigarettes.
I feel like I understand that vampires have urges that they can't control. Jenny already laid this out like very clearly early in the episode. I just feel like Angel is in less control than we see him most of the other times that we see him. When Joyce is thrust into his arms with her neck bleeding, and he's just sort of like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'll just stand here incriminatingly, for a while.
This man has been in an alley eating rats for like 100 fucking years. Like, he'd be okay, I think, with the neck of Joyce presented to him. But I 100% agree. But he doesn't say anything. He just stands there, and Buffy sees him, and now Buffy has to kill him, I guess, because fucking nobody talks about anything that's happened.
I can understand. I get why he's not saying anything. It's easy when you're at home on your couch watching a vampire holding a recently pierced woman, warm to the touch, pulse pounding against your hand.
God, this is becoming increasingly none of my business.
I'm just saying,
it was the way
overwhelmed.
It was the way you Idina Menzel's your way through warm, raspy and sultry, warm.
But look,
pulse, his throbbing.
Yeah, there's
tender,
throbbing, there's
flesh exposed,
thundering. She's warm, you know.
Yeah.
He's room temp. She's so much warmer than him. He's overwhelmed sensorially, and he's like experiencing all of that experiencing the preemptive fucking guilt and shame of like what he wants, even though he's not like doing it. He's
Fair.
like, oh, I want it and I'm disgusting. And then Buffy comes in and sees him and he's like, there she is, thinking all the things that I just thought about myself. I'm a disgusting monster and I deserve to die.
That's fair.
Here's my favorite thing that happens next. It's on 2 levels. Number one, this is something that my pal Ellen Sepinwall talks about all the time, which is like the thing that we've lost in the streaming era is the joy of the commercial break. So the fact that we come back from commercial break to Angel's body just flying out the ever broken front window of
This is count 1.
Oh,
I wrote it
first
down.
break. Okay,
First time.
The virginal breaking of the
Whoa!
the summer's front parlor window, his body flying out. Great return from break. But my question is, and I hope it's true, did Buffy, being as they're in the kitchen, and presumably Angel, like, I don't know, eventually drops Joyce, like, in his sort of like, oh no. Do you think she, like, grabbed him by his ear and hauled him out into the living room? Because surely he didn't fight back. Like, he's not, they're not trading blows through the house. That comes, like, a little later. You know, he would be like, no, stop. I didn't mean to do, you know, or really what would have happened is he would have tucked tail and ran his ass out through the kitchen door, the way that he slalomed his way out of her bedroom window earlier inside of the episode head first.
But counterpoint to Jenny's earlier monologue about guilt and shame and throbbing and pulsing, what if, I know we know that Buffy throws him through the window, but like, what if we just say that Angel was so racked with guilt that he actually just needed a bigger window to throw himself through?
He's like, don't look at me, I'm hideous, and then ran through the house. Just straight out that window. He bypasses the front door and goes straight
straight through the window.
Maybe he's like, I deserve to be thrown through something. A door would actually probably be more expensive to replace.
Oh yeah,
than just a big sheet of glass. So he was like, this seems like the responsible, respectful choice.
He's like, she doesn't yet have Xander as a carpenter on retainer here to do all the woodwork repair that we need to in the Summers house.
Oh God,
and guys,
I can't wait.
That's a future spoiler, and it's a pleasure to talk about a future spoiler.
I know. I always feel like very excited when I say something even that has no meaning whatsoever that comes next. Okay, Buffy calls 911. Xander and Willow show up. We go to the hospital.
An emergency text from Joanna about something in this scene.
I'm posting it on social media, so don't you worry.
Okay.
What I said in all caps, I said, not Giles wearing an entire silk scarf to the hospital. You know, he put it on. He wasn't wearing that scarf. He was like, I've got to go to the hospital. Let me throw on an overcoat and oh yes, this little Paisley number. Like,
God, incredible. Fucking incredible. This
10
is
out
your
of 10.
barbecue fork moment that you love.
It's this, and it's like, you know, the backed up sewer thing. Like, you know, these are the iconic elements of what it's like to live around vampires in Sunnydale. Barbecue forks abound. We don't even have a barbecue fork. They don't even have a barbecue, guys. They don't have a backyard, which, you know, they should.
The amount of, not only do they not have a barbecue fork, but everyone is really just going with this librarian cares a lot vibe, like deeply. Joyce says it like, the teachers really do care in this town.
These schools are great.
Getting bit by a vampire presents itself like mild anemia. I got excited because I don't mean to brag, but I recently had mild anemia, which continues the parallel of children as vampires, babies as vampires, you know?
How fun
for
you.
You've got a being feeding off your life force inside of you right now.
Yeah, draining me.
That's cool.
Nobody worry about me. It's the vampires inside my body. You've seen it. It's in Twilight. It's just like that.
No, it's not, Kristin.
The baby's name is Renesmee.
Renesmee's not gonna, like, no one is gonna have to, like, bite her out of your womb.
Honestly, don't speak until it's done, because it feels every day like she's gonna punch right through. Okay. I think this is gonna take more than a simple steak, Buffy says. cut to her loading her crossbow for Jenny.
I'm so pissed. I'm so fucking pissed.
If someone shows up to the buffering prom in a bandolier of bolts, I will give you a hug and a consensual peck on the cheek.
Yes!
You know, like I would like to see it.
Jenny will write bandolier of bolts on your arm so you can get it tattooed.
I will.
Yeah, signed you up.
The only surefire way to make sure this crossbow works is to shoot a little Smoking Kills poster.
My sister
Thank
is
God.
attempting to quit smoking right now, and I sent her a little video clip of this and said, look, even Buffy is behind your mission.
I bet we could find that poster for her.
Oh, God. It's such a good poster.
Yeah. It is very important to me that not only does a crossbow appear inside of this episode, but we get a kick up crossbow moment.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Like that's
Oh, yeah.
very important. Why even crossbow if you're not going to kick it up from the ground at one point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as Buffy is practicing by shooting the Smoking Sucks poster, Darla and Angel are having an exchange. We're going to play it for you because we care.
What did you think? Did you think she would understand? She would look at your face, your true face, and give you a kiss? For 100 years, you've not had a moment's peace because you will not accept who you are. That's all you have to do. Accept it. Don't let her hunt you down. Don't whimper and mew like a mangy human. Kill. Feed. Live.
All right.
What do you want?
I want it finished.
That's good. You're hurting me. That's good, too.
Okay. Top 5 in this episode, for sure. Like...
I'm telling you, I will reign victorious somehow by the end of the series. By the end of Angel, the television series, I will reign supreme.
I don't remember the song for this episode, Jenny. But does it include the lyrics "Kill, Feed, Live"? Because hot, you know?
It's the B-side to Want, Take, Have.
Yeah. That missed a huge missed opportunity.
Oh, I'm not here to, 8 years later quarterback your perfected, beautiful lyrical work. I just
these are great notes for when we go through the show the third time.
I love and admire you and think you're just the greatest thing ever.
Do we think that is the vibe here that Angel is? He wants it finished, aka he wants Buffy to kill him. Like that's from the jump. What he's saying
He says that. Yeah, he says, "Am I a righteous man?"
Right. I just want to make sure that we were all on the same page there.
Yeah. He distinctly says Faith and Begorra? ? Is that... Where's the Slayer named Begorra? Where's that spin-off?
Faith. It's like Risley and Isles, but it's Faith and Begorra.
Yes. Give us what we deserve.
Oh my God.
Angel has to go back to the motherland with Faith and newly called Slayer.
A fledgling Slayer.
She's small. Begorra.
A little girl named Begorra. And never mind. I don't want to get into it. I was just about to troll Dave Boreanaz again, and those days are behind me. Okay, we have a showdown. A shootout.
Yo,
oh my God.
Buffy changes into the sparkliest purple outfit of all time for this.
I do want to say she has a satin mini dress that she's wearing earlier that is just like genuinely incredible and better than the sparkly thing that she's wearing. But she's wearing leather pants in this.
Oh, it's leather on
fight.
the bottom, sparkle on the top.
It is. Because we get a shot of just her booted and beleathered legs walking down the stairs, and it's just like, yes, girl, leather pants to kill your demon lover.
And is there any other way? Come on.
Oh my God.
Cat's eyes sharp enough to kill a vampire. Let's go.
Giles stays back to chat with Joyce because they have to develop their rapport, obviously. Learning, of course, that Darla was the friend that came to help Buffy study. Angel didn't do it after all. Oh, no. So now Giles and Willow and Xander are like, we've got to get to Buffy to tell her that this is actually a good vampire. And then to your point, let's get it done, says Angel in vamp face. The bronze is empty. Please see former fumigation party. A great way to get the bronze to be empty. David Boreanaz jumps on the pool table. The pool table is the main character in the scene. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
It's a red pool table, right? It's not green,
is.
it's red. Yeah,
It's
Darla
red,
dressed to match the pool table is what I believe to be true.
Oh, yeah.
But she like really wants to know why the fuck he didn't hurt her. Like she can't just kill this vampire. She needs to understand this vampire. And that's how you know that you're falling in love with a vampire, everyone. When you need to understand them. She says, I invited you into my home and then you attacked my family. He says, why not? I killed mine. I killed their friends and their friends' children. For 100 years, I offered ugly death to everyone I met. And I did it with a song in my heart. LaToya.
What song?
LaToya writes, what song? I wish we knew. Wait, we do. It's Mandy.
That's really funny. Excellent writing. Of all the bad things that Angel does in this episode, and he does a few, I think him just like a poor Romani girl catching strays when he calls her dumb as a post for no fuck off, Angel.
Why?
I feel like you've learned nothing from your curse. You killed a girl, you got cursed, and you're like, that dumb bitch. Like, what is wrong with you?
I feel like this is part of Angel's grand self-character assassination plan of this episode. He's like, fuel on the fire. She's gonna kill me if I just keep heaping it on.
Girls bad at math.
Dumb as a post. Not even like she wasn't super smart. Dumb as a post, said Angel.
Girls
What the
are
fuck?
dumb. They drool. Kill me. I'm Angel. Angel, you can just walk into the sun. Unless it's snowing, you could just walk into the sun. You don't have to
one
taunt
exception.
a teen into doing it for you.
I wonder if the vampire population in like the North Pole is really high.
There's actually a comic about this called 30 Days of Night.
Oh.
About vampires thriving there because of the extended darkness.
Incredible. Darla's here. Listen. There's a lot to say, but I would like to say that I never like a gun in the Buffyverse, except for when there's two and they're in the hands of Darla. That's the only time I've ever been down with guns.
Wesley.
Oh, does Wesley have? Wesley has one in Angel, yeah.
He has two in Angel, and he jumps and he shoots them.
That's the thing. It has to be two or go home.
Two or go home. Otherwise, why did you bother?
Again, this is so like Tarantino coded cool, like, John Woo cool sort of stuff that's happening here. But it just feels like when they do this here and then we hardly ever do guns in a vampire fight again, I'm just sort of like, Darla, an innovator that nobody took her up on, like the innovation. Everyone was like, it's kung fu or it's nothing. Sorry. Maybe a glaive, maybe a mace, but none of, no weapon forged, et cetera, et cetera. So,
You're either on your back with two guns as the pool table is sliding, shooting, or nothing.
Nothing.
Which, by the way, she has unlimited bullets, is the thing that is also very clear in this
She
scene.
have a bandolier tucked up her skirt somewhere.
Yep. That's a feature of the Catholic school uniform that nobody ever talks about.
Bandolier, garters. Garters is bandoliers, bullet bandoliers. Yeah.
Nice. Yes, approved.
When the Scooby Cavalry arrives, Xander up on the catwalk is like, we need to distract her. And Willow immediately out with it, following her thread for this episode. Her distraction concept is, Buffy, it wasn't Angel who attacked your mom. It was Darla.
I love it. The boy.
Yes, kiss him. Can anybody on this Zoom explain to me why Darla says, "Come on, Buffy, take it like a man"?
Maybe because it's the Darla is a tiny blonde and Buffy is a tiny blonde, and they're both tiny blondes who can do things that men usually only do. So we want to make a little quirky line about it. She says, "You love someone who hates us. You're sick. You'll always be sick." And this is like valid. Like if you're Darla or any other vampire, like this is a valid feeling of like, how could this be the person that you love right now? She hates us. She wants to kill all of us.
And he's like, conveniently, I hate myself, so it works.
Yes.
Here's what I'm going to say about Julie Benz. I don't think anyone else brings the same like sort of riz/speech impediment that she does speaking around her prosthetic teeth, right? Like, you're sick. It's like, I don't think anyone else like quite wrestles with it the way that she does. You're sick. You'll always be sick, you know?
She's making it work for her. You're totally right.
I think she was only second to worst on Jenny's original Fang list because Luke was it Luke who? No,
Yeah.
Luke could do it. Luke was the best. Who was the worst on your
I think
list?
Luke was the best.
Oh.
But they both
let you know in a
I
minute.
would say, and I would also say that, I'm so sorry, what's the name of the actor who plays the master? Mark
Metcalf.
Yeah, I think everyone in season 1 is really struggling around the teeth. They had just not figured out the whole teeth apparatus yet.
Angel kills Darla. Shocking Kristin Russo, someone who podcasted about Buffy the Vampire Slayer for 7 years.
Oh
She's
my
dead?
God.
And that's it. That's the end of Darla.
That's the end of Darla. And he's so sad. Like, this is, you don't know, like, you know, if you're watching this in real time, you know, like they had a history and you find out in this scene that Darla sired Angel. Right? I think this is where we learn that. So, you know, they have history when he does this. But when you watch this and you've seen all of their history, this is a very big deal, what he has done here.
Yeah, but Buffy's the love of his life. So he's
debatable.
known her for like a couple months.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He saw her eating a lollipop once from afar.
Backlit
And
by
that
the
sealed the deal.
sun. And a questionable wig. And he's like, that's it for me.
That's it. Fuck you, Darla.
Fuck you, Darla.
You made me. We spent centuries together. The master is giving us the true emotional response. He's showing us what's inside of Angel, I think, too. He's so upset. She was my favorite for 400 years.
That is a long time to have a favorite.
And like I love this. Like, he's upset clearly that Darla has been killed, but the fact that Angel was the one to fucking kill her, and he also wanted like Angel to be at his right hand. His empire is falling apart. And you know what? Thank God he has a tiny fucking child who annoys everyone to pieces because that makes him feel better. Imagine that's what you had. You had fucking Darla and Angel. You lost them both. And you're like, okay, well, I've got this fucking kid in a hoodie. So
we go back to the bronzes, the post-fumigation party, right? There's, you know, much hardier cockroaches running around. All sorts of things are happening here. What song plays for this? One of the most important moments that has ever graced a TV or film screen?
It's "I'll Remember You" by Sophie
By
Zelmani.
Sarah McLachlan. Okay. And
it's called "I'll Remember You"?
Yes.
Okay, I'm really glad that you looked it up because that's kind of a big deal. What?
Yeah. And let me tell you about the lyrics, actually.
Please.
It's daybreak, and you are asleep. I can hear you breathe now. Your breath is deep. But before I go, I look at you one last time. I can hear a heartbeat. Is it yours or is it mine?
Oh.
Genuinely,
Wow.
that's very good.
Wow.
That's genuinely,
It does
that's
feel
very good.
like it applies.
It's very good because it's only one heart is beating, throbbing, thrumming inside of this scene. Logistics aside, physics aside, geometry aside, however we want to decide how the crucifix gets emblazoned on his sternum. The painful, I know, walks away, and then you see that he's physically. It's like one of the most melodramatic, beautiful, overwrought teen soap moments with just a delicious umami sprinkling of. He was talking about how physically painful it is, not how emotionally painful. Both. Why not both, obviously? But like, that's just like, it's so funny and so good. Like, this show rules. This is the greatest show ever, and you guys should talk about it for the next 100 years.
See you on our third rewatch. Joanna, are you still here?
Let's pray and make it to round 3.
I agree.
Yeah, this show rocks. This is what I've been saying the whole time.
And this is, I mean, I know we like we dragged Angel for like not, saying I gotta walk away, but like these beats, I have to walk away from this. Me too. One of us has to go here. I know. And then they
hang up first.
Like that is, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
It's very, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Totally. Oh, they're not walking away. They're kissing.
They're smooching.
And so it begins.
This is actually just going to think forward really quickly. Does anyone remember, I don't know, at the beginning of like season 7 when a different vampire drapes his entire body onto a cross? And there's some smoke, but is there any scarring or skin damage?
Well, listen, it just depends on what the cross is made out of.
Okay.
It depends on how much you are into kissing. Like, are you in pain? Are you in pleasure? It's a complicated thing, Jenny.
Okay. Oh, maybe Angel's curse, like the shades of gray of his curse, include that if he is enjoying something a little, he's not having a moment of pure
True
happiness,
yeah.
true happiness, but he's having like he's getting there.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
At least somewhat tumescent. Question. Should I make this image that I just Googled of Spike on the cross with like smoke coming up my phone background?
Yes.
I think so.
We would like that.
100%.
We would celebrate that.
History being made here.
On it.
When we do Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the 3rd time around and the listeners listen to the 2nd time around, they will write in the notes document, this is the episode where Joanna made her phone background a smoking Spike.
It's so beautiful.
Joanna, before we have you howl out with us, I'm so happy we get to howl out together again. At one point, we thought it would never happen again, but here we are. Are there any other things in this episode that are simply burning a hole of burning? Sorry,
in my
cross,
sternum.
Cross
my
sternum. Shape in your sternum. Yeah.
Xander drools, Giles rules. Willow is out of character pretty much all episode. Oh, I want to mention the line delivery that I loved. My favorite Allison Hannigan line delivery is when she's like, "How do you know everything?" And I never know anything. And Giles is like, "Well, I was here from like 6 a.m. blah blah, like studying." And she's like, "You weren't doing that, were you?" She's like, "No, I was sleeping." Just the way she says it is just like really sweet. I really liked it.
Yeah, that got me too. The tiniest of all the willows.
No, I was sleeping. Great stuff. What a great show. Thanks for having me. What a joy. What a delight.
I wish the time was infinite, Joanna, because truly it would be a pleasure to talk to you about every single fucking beat of this entire television series one at a time.
If we keep doing the show over and over again, yeah.
Once more with Joanna Robinson. Fucking yeah, let's go. See you
like
in 7 years.
3-hour episodes for every single Buffy.
Yeah, at least we went from like 45-minute episodes to 2-hour episodes on this jump pretty much consistently.
We're growing.
Yeah, we could go to 4 actually if the Half-Life or whatever.
Dare to dream. Dare to dream.
Great.
And why not?
We love you so much.
Love you.
Would you like to tell folks? Everybody here knows exactly where the fuck to find you, but why don't you tell them anyway?
That's not true. I hear all the time from people that they like heard me first on Buffering. So just so you know, your influence. Listen, I work for a website called The Ringer. and I do podcasts on there, and one is called House of R. That's probably the main one that you folks might want to listen to. But also I do one called Prestige TV, where I talk about prestige television. And also I'm occasionally on shows like The Big Pick. Oh, I've got Trial by Content as well, is another show that I do on theringer.com. This week, I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but the week that we're recording it, so you might have to go back and look for it, my co-host Mallory Rubin and I talked about Interview with the Vampire, a tremendous, perfect television show that I think all of you Buffy fans should watch. Maybe Buffy hosts too, but who's to say? So, yeah.
This episode is going to be airing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's all you had to do was make a podcast. Now the fire is lit.
Okay. Mallory and I talked about season 1 and also spent an hour talking about the television show Landman, one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. But we gave each other a gift exchange. She watched Interview with the Vampire for me, a masterpiece. And I watched Landman, an absolute hunk of junk trash pile for her. So, you know.
Joanna, this episode will be airing on February 5th, very possibly the exact day that I will be having my child.
Exciting.
It remains to be seen.
A month ago. Go back a month into the archives and you will find a House of R episode on Interview with the Vampire and also Landman.
Oh my God. Listen to everything Joanna fucking does. She's the only podcaster I listen to. The only one with the Kristin seal of approval is Joanna Robinson.
I'm Jenny Owen Youngs, and when I'm not watching Buffy or listening to Joanna Robinson podcast, I'm usually making music. You can find my entire catalog on Bandcamp or your favorite digital music platform, or you can obtain it in corporeal form by heading over to my website, jennyowenyoungs.com. You can find me on socials at Jenny Owen Youngs, and you can find me in the flesh, in the wild, in upcoming months as I play in the following cities that I'm going to rattle off like the Micro Machines guy. Northampton, Massachusetts, South Kingston, Rhode Island, Portland, Maine, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, Albany, California, Felton, California, Los Angeles, Vienna, Virginia, Philadelphia, and New York City. You can get the exact dates and find tickets at jennyowenyoungs.com/tour.
I'm so tired, Jenny, just from hearing that list. I am Kristin Russo, and I will be going to none of those cities at all. I will be in one singular city, the anchor in a tour storm while Jenny traverses the land. You can learn about the work that I do with and for LGBTQ plus communities over at my website, KristinNoline.com. In addition to running a queer horror movie club and a little queer book club, I also do a lot of speaking at workplaces, and I do a lot of that virtually. So no matter where you are, if that's something that's of interest to you, look it up, reach out, and I can talk to you and all of your coworkers. It's a great time. You can also follow me at Kristin Noline, that's KristinNoeline on socials, and that is the spelling for the website as well.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on socials at BufferingCast. And you can always email us at hello@bufferingcast.com. Kristin's not going to be in the inbox for like a month and a half, so if you want to get any messages to just me, I'll periodically be looking. If you want to talk about Kristin.
You think I won't be in that inbox, but you know my sneaky little self will pop in there no matter what. Please support us. Please support the work we do here. We are an independent podcast, and most of our support comes from you. Patreon.com/bufferingcast. You can find everything that we ever talk about, honestly, on bufferingcast.com.
This episode was produced by Kristin Russo, Jenny Owen Youngs, and LaToya Ferguson, with support from our consultant Mackenzie McDade. It was edited by John Mark Nelson, and till next time.
I know what I should do. Forget about you and walk away. But I know that what I should do and what I want to are not the same. I keep breathing in. You make the rest of the world go dim. History says you're a monster, but it don't know you like I know you. You're fighting it so hard. I don't mean to warn you, only gravity is pulling on me. I'm fighting it so hard. It's so hard. You're scared of what you might do, that you might find you can't change your face. But I see what you're made of and what you gave up to keep me safe. I keep breathing in. You make the rest of the world go dim. Your old friends say you're a monster, but they don't know you like I know you. You're fighting it so hard. I don't mean to warn you, only gravity is pulling on me. I'm fighting it so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard.
This is one of my favorite songs of all 144 plus 19 or whatever the hell the musical was. This is the moment that, we say, you say, because this you wrote alone. This is the moment that you say, actually, these songs can be hilarious and fun and plot, specific, naming characters, naming devices, or actually they can get to the heart of the matter and be a little less specific. And in that, make us all weep, I think. I think that's what you sat down to achieve, Jenny, and I think you did it.
Hey, thanks. I love this song. I'm so proud of this song. And it is the turning point. We didn't close the door, but we opened a window also.
Yeah. Yes.
And it just like changed what a buffering song could be. Not that, 6 songs is there's a precedent set by the first six songs, and then we kind of expand on that. And that makes me happy because these two, and this is the introduction, oh man, because everyone knows that Buffy and Angel in season 2 will have a love theme that goes do 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 when Christoph Beck is on the scene. And everyone also knows that Christoph Beck will go on to create the score for Frozen and Agatha All Along and various other things.
Wow,
He's
powerhouse.
up to his neck in Disney. But for now, he's concerned with the one girl in all the world and also the boy she likes. And we were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had a love theme too for Buffy and Angel? So we have a little theme that goes, ah, ah, ah. And then in my head it goes, ooh. Whoa, that was pretty bad. Ooh, ooh. It was a little difficult to falsettify. Ooh, and then back around again. So, you know, I'm no Christoph Beck, but
yeah, you know,
I'm proud of what we did.
I think your theme. I think that little theme that you just hummed and that everybody heard in the song is quite gorgeous.
Thanks. Well, we'll keep hearing it in major Buffy and Angel episodes.
So I know, I know we get it in I Will Remember You. Maybe that's the last time we get it. Do you remember the other songs that it appears? Surprise and Innocence, or one of them?
I think there's like one or two more songs that it pops up in, but my brain is not working. However, we're going to talk about them.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them when we get there and
raise a flag as they occur.
I don't know if this is the place for this kind of thinking to be said out loud, but I've always had a small dream of doing some kind of vinyl that's specific to buffering songs, because we have a vinyl for Once More with Feeling, which was our podcast musical, but apart from the little 7-inch that we did for I Will Remember You, we don't have a buffering vinyl. And I thought, you know, at the very least, this set of songs that all have the Angel theme on them, I think would make for an amazing side to an album. And then, you know, maybe the Faith songs or the Spike songs or that one Riley song.
Come on now.
But yeah, this is a gorgeous song, and I think my favorite songs. You know what? It's ridiculous to even try to say what my favorite songs are, but I just am always so excited when the task at hand is write a song that can apply to you, the listener at home, me, the person sitting right here, but also can apply to Buffy or Angel or whatever. It's really, really fun and satisfying to do that. And our pattern, I think, is it starts here, Jenny, where most often, there are a few exceptions, but most often when we hit an episode that it's like, this is serious and sad and guttingly beautiful, I'm like, bye, you know, and I just sort of walk out the door and I close it behind me, and Jenny is left to do the lift, because this is your wheelhouse. You are so good at
it's the house where I keep all my wheels. Actually.
Every wheel you've ever had in this house. Yeah. You just rip a beating heart right out, and you do a beautiful job at it. And this is a great example of that. So thank you for
doing what I can.
Thank you for making this beautiful song for us.
Nothing is as it seems in liminal London. Hidden amongst everyday people are werewolves.
You'll be the werewolf then?
Yeah, Mags.
Wizards.
Montgomery Archibald Barker at your bloody service.
And those cursed by the Fey monarchs of the city.
Declan Buchanan, PI. He has quite a large pair of antlers growing out of his forehead.
Join the unlikely misfits of liminal London as they work to take down the powers that claim to rule the city.
I think the Queen doesn't like you very much.
With incredible guest players like Johnny Chiodini.
You say there's Sludge?
Yeah, Sludge. Yeah, I'm the Sludge boy.
Love Sludge boy.
No, again, I'm not that Sludge boy.
Grant Howitt.
Isaac Newton didn't study in Putney, did he?
Who's Isaac?
Oh my god.
And Shamini Bundell.
There's a magic community. There is. Yay, I'm in a magic community.
Go to realmspod.com or search Realms of Peril and Glory wherever you listen to podcasts to find this mysteriously magical actual play series.
If you are caught up in the Barbenheimer frenzy, if you love ranking the Mission Impossible films, if you are just an all-around movie fan, I have a podcast for you. Hello, I'm Amy Nicholson. I'm a film critic who writes for the New York Times, and I am also the co-host of Unspooled. the ultimate movie podcast. Each week, my co-host Paul Scheer and I unspool famous films to see if they're truly all-time classics. From the original 1984 Karate Kid to Children of Men to more recent pictures to Dune, yes, to Citizen Kane, we cover it all. Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.